go-ahead score. Unbelievable. And there's Quinnen Williams as he throws down Teddy Bridgewater.
It's off to Carter. Into the end zone. A Jets touchdown.
After a come-from-behind victory over the Bengals, the Jets have a quick turnaround with a visit to the Colts on Thursday Night Football. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Numbers Game. I'm your host, Dan Graca. We're brought to you by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET. I am joined, as always, by my co-host from the NFL Network. It is Cynthia Frelund. Cynthia, how are you?
Really happy. How are you?
How do you not like victory week, right? And talk about a victory. Nothing could have been sweeter for the Jets and their fans on Halloween. More treat than trick, certainly, when you talk about the 34-31 come-from-behind victory over the Cincinnati Bengals, a game that the Jets trailed by 11 points midway through the fourth quarter. And I know that you know all these things when it comes to numbers and stats and figures and all these great analytical data things. But did you know, Cynthia, that NFL teams this year were 0-59 when trailing by double digits with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter? Until Sunday, that is.
I didn't know until Sunday, but I did hear that on Sunday. So I was going to say, well, I did know before you just told me, but yes.
And one of the big reasons why that the Jets were able to engineer that victory was the performance of the quarterback making his first ever National Football League start. That, of course, is Mike White. He was named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week, and rightfully so. 37 of 45, 405 yards passing, 3 touchdown passes. And Cynthia, what I like about it more than anything else, completed passes to 10 different targets.
10 different targets and had at least an 80% completion percentage to all those targets. So guys lined up in the backfield. By the way, he was perfect to them in those short yardage situations, meaning between 0 and 10 air yards, and then the intermediate ones as well. He really did a great job. Slot, tight, the alignment didn't matter, over 80%.
He was efficient no matter where he was throwing the football, and that all added up to a very, very good performance. You talk about some of the numbers that he was able to achieve. He threw for the second most yards of any quarterback making his first career NFL start. Only Cam Newton had a few more back in 2011. So you talk about all the completions, you talk about all the different targets, all the yardage, but ironically enough, the guy who was the Jets' leading receiver, he was a running back by trade. And of course, we're talking about the rookie Michael Carter out of North Carolina, who was efficient running the football and also catching it as well. 172 yards from scrimmage for the rookie, Cynthia. This is a guy now midway through his first season who's really starting to come into his own.
I really like watching him. There's a really cool next-gen stat that's called rushing yards over expected. So what it does is it measures in an average quarterback or average running back in the situation, down, distance, score, and time remaining, how many yards do they typically get? Well, Michael Carter had plus 15 in this game, which means that an average running back would have earned 62 rushing yards on his attempts. He earned 77, which if you keep adding those up every single game, that is how you net wins.
Now let's also give some love to the defense, too, because they shut down a pretty high-powered Cincinnati Bengals offense, as we know. Generated 11 pressures on quarterback Joe Burrow. Jack Lawson, of all people, Cynthia, a defensive lineman. Did you have him in the office pool as the guy who would record the Jets' first interception this year? Probably not too many people did, but it came at the perfect time in that fourth quarter. And again, shutting down a Bengals offense, shutting down a rookie in Jamar Chase, who was off to a record-setting start. Didn't seem that way on Sunday.
We track with next-gen stats the win probability at any moment in a game, and the moment just before that Shaq Lawson interception, the win probability for the Jets was down to 4%, meaning 96% for the Bengals, and Shaq Lawson totally turned that around. That was the first thing that happened, and then there was another score, and then, of course, you had a really good finish with the pressures from, Sheldon Rankins had that really key ice-it sack at the last moment as well. So that went from 4% to 100%, which is incredible.
Everybody pitching in, everybody had a hand, of course, in this victory. And now the thing you want to do is, of course, build off the victory and try to string multiple wins together. That's the next opportunity for the Jets on Thursday night against the Indianapolis Colts. And when we come back here, we're going to look ahead to the opponent on Thursday, that being Indianapolis. Stick around. More Numbers Game presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET.
Good to have you boys back.
You know how it is. We never really left.
Slow down, though. I got to make my picks.
You want to get on this win bet with me?
I like where your head's at, but Boston's not covering.
Win bet, huh?
Yep. Bet any game, anytime, and you bet with win, so it's the best. You don't need to cover? Look at the numbers.
Look at the offense.
With what, Frank? A microscope?
Go with Boston, Ben.
Don't worry, Frank, I already made my picks. I just wanted to see you two go at it. You have an allegiance to Boston right now, but that's called common sense. Common to who? Bostonians?
And welcome back to the Numbers Game, presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET. Okay, Cynthia, next up for the Jets, a Thursday night affair against the Indianapolis Colts. Indy checks in at 3-5, and they're coming off a real disappointing 34-31 overtime defeat to the Tennessee Titans at home, a game that they led 14-0. And actually, they've struggled so far this year on their home field, just 1-3 to begin the season. And when you look at that Titans game from last Sunday, Carson Wentz, the quarterback, summarize his performance, it's pretty much a tale of two halves.
Well, the beginning, and actually the first three quarters, he was what we had been seeing before. He actually had a streak going for kind of his career long without an interception. He was starting to make like Colts situations, be like, oh, we're almost getting to enough pass attempts for him to be a Colts streak. But then things all turned around, and then perhaps the weirdest interception I've seen thrown all season long in the fourth quarter, which really changed the game in favor of the Tennessee Titans. It was interesting because we've seen Carson Wentz be kind of two different guys this whole season, not just that game, but that game really kind of, it really shows exactly what we've been seeing this season with all of the good parts and then very bad.
You probably don't want to just throw the ball up for grabs as you're about to get tackled in the end zone. I don't think too many good things can happen there. Ultimately led for a pick six there for the Tennessee Titans, as you pointed out there. He does have weapons to contend with. Jonathan Taylor, the second-year running back, 5 games in a row with a touchdown. And one of his young targets, Michael Pittman Jr., he's also somebody who's starting to come on of late.
I like watching Pittman Jr. because if you saw the scripted plays, meaning the first few plays coming out of the gate in that first half, he scored 2 touchdowns in like 2 possessions, and very quick ones, really smart ones with a lot of space. So this is an interesting development and note, especially since the Colts run game and run offense is what they're known for because they have this awesome O-line, and Jonathan Taylor gets to exploit that O-line running behind such a great O-line. But it's not often you see like these deep connections. The game prior to that, Pittman didn't miss a single target that was headed his way either. So they're crafting more opportunities for him to get open.
It'll be another tough test for the Jet cornerbacks, the youngsters who've done a nice job, the Bryce Halls of the world, the Michael Carters, Brandon Eccles, who did a nice job with those Cincy receivers. See if they could carry it over here to this Colts game. All right, let's talk about big picture, final score. Over under 46.5 total points, Jets Colts Thursday night. What do you think?
Both of these teams have great defenses, and interestingly enough, I think it's going to be fewer than that. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, and I think it's going to be tighter, but it's going to be more of a defensive matchup than it is an offensive one.
So Thursday night football, I know that you're cooking the big meal on Thursday night. Now the Jets are a part of it. What is on the menu for Cynthia's meal of Thursday?
Well, the first thing you need to know is that actually away teams are in the lead this season. Over 51% of the time, the not home team has been winning games. So that's a nice little note there. And then I usually pick some cuisine from the home team. So I'm actually going to go with some roast chicken this time and just a nice fall fare. I'm from the Midwest, so like I don't even know other than like, some spicy shrimp cocktail. I don't know what Indianapolis is known for. So Midwestern fare.
Very, very nice. Can't go wrong with a roast chicken. If there's any leftovers, maybe send them to your friends this way. We'll take care of it. No problem. We'll make sure that it goes to a good place for sure. Cynthia, enjoy the game. Thursday night football, Jets in prime time, nothing better. We'll do it again next week.
Oh, you know it. Have a good week.
All right, that's Cynthia Frelund. I'm Dan Graca. Thanks for joining us again here on The Numbers Game, presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET. Enjoy the game, everybody. Bye-bye.